Why is Registrar General's Department still charging 31,000 Ghana cedis per company for registering their company? Let's get into it. Registrar General's Department is in essence the government department that registers both local and international companies. Every time an international company comes into the country, they used to, before July 2024, have to bring in a minimum of $200,000 if they were doing a joint venture with another Ghanaian. So at Registrar General's Department, they would take 1% of that. So they would take $2,000 just for the stated capital, or the equivalent, which is 31,350 Ghana cedis. So if as of July 2024, Yofi Grant of GIPC has said that Ghana no longer takes $200,000 up front for a joint venture when an international is involved and coming into the country, one would have naturally expected Registrar General to follow suit in terms of not charge that 1% of $200,000. But they in effect haven't, in terms of they're still taking 1% of $200,000 if it's a joint venture. And if it's not a joint venture and just internationals coming in, that's 1% of $500,000. So it would be great to get a bit more clarity from Registrar General's Department as to when they're going to scrap this 1% upfront for international companies. And the reason why this is important is that Ghana's economy relies very heavily on foreign direct investment. And so when foreigners come into the country and they're bringing in money, they're employing people, they're doing different things, this goes back into our economy and it helps improve the economy. And so if we scrap a minimum of $200,000 for them to come in, what's going to in effect happen is most of them will still come in anyway and still spend that amount, but it's a psychological barrier to sort of tell them upfront that you have to bring that in. And so if the government is doing incentives to remove that barrier, so the companies just come in anyway and they just bring their money in anyway, it really is also for Registrar General's Department not to take that 1% of $200,000 that no longer exists, because it's a lot of money. It's like telling a foreign company you have to pay 31,350 Ghana cedis upfront just for stated capital, apart from the other registration fees that company also has to pay. So as we invite more companies to come into Ghana and spend in Ghana and create jobs for Ghanaians, etc., it's really good that our government departments mirror each other. So if GIPC have taken a bold decision and said we're going to scrap this minimum requirement of $200,000, $500,000 and $1 million, so that the companies come in anyway and spend, then Registrar General's Department, as a sister department to GIPC, should likewise follow suit. So it would be great if there is some clarity from the Registrar General's Department in relation to this point.